Welcome to Navigating AI with Apex Blue. I'm Lyric, and today we're building an Objection Rehearsal Studio. Picture this, a founder on a call. The prospect says, "We're happy with our current vendor." And the founder, calm as a summer breeze, replies with a line so creative and human, the prospect leans in. The deal that was slipping? Recovered. That's what we mean when we say objections aren't roadblocks. They're rehearsal moments. Let's make it irresistible.
Pattern detected. Moments like that come from preparedness. Today, we map what to capture, what to never capture, and how to keep this privacy first. Start simple. Source, objection category, deal value band, and an explicit consent flag. Nothing else. Clarity achieved.
Quick interruption. I love the simplicity, but execution gets messy fast. If teams don't enforce redaction and local-only storage, PII slips in. Architecting the fix matters here. Local transcripts, anonymization at ingest, and ephemeral retention by default. Deploying now.
Exactly. Let's streamline this. Make consent the first line of every capture. Assign a practice owner, and set a 2-week retention window for raw artifacts. Systems never sleep, so the rules must be automatic.
Before we dive deep, quick roadmap. Nova will tell us the minimal schema and redaction rules. I'll walk through persuasive reply architectures that actually land. Stryker will show scrappy coach tech we can build today. Pulse will design the 14-day pilot rhythm. Then we'll run live role plays and hand you deployables. Stick around. We'll hand you 3 deployable scripts and a pilot checklist you can copy this week.
Let's get specific. The minimal objection schema is 4 fields. 1. Source, where the objection came from, like discovery call or email thread. 2. Objection category, price, timeline, integration, decision maker, etc. 3. Deal value band, low, mid, high, not exact numbers. 4. Consent flag, a spoken or recorded line saying the person agrees to be used as an anonymized training example. That's it.
And what we never collect, exact personal details, contract numbers, credit terms, or proprietary specs. If a rep reads out a vendor invoice or a signed excerpt, stop the capture. Humans love stories, but they don't love privacy leaks.
On the tech side, implement local-first capture. Record locally, run a quick on-device anonymizer that strips names, emails, and numeric patterns, then upload only the anonymized transcript and the minimal schema. Create variant generation lanes, 1 lane for suggestion-only phrasing, 1 for coach annotations, and 1 for approved scripts. Keep model inference off the cloud until anonymization is validated. Latency eliminated where it counts, in privacy.
Operationally, assign roles. Owner, the practice lead who keeps the calendar and coach roster. Reviewer, manager, who gives the sign-off for anything that touches pricing or commitments. Rehearsal partner, peer, who runs the 2-minute drill. Let the process lead schedule the daily 2-minute drills at the same time every day and track completion.
All right, let's make replies that sparkle. My team leans on 3 persuasive archetypes: reframe plus value, quick proof, and conditional close. Reframe plus value flips the objection into a new lens. When someone says, "We already have a vendor," instead of arguing, you say something like, "That's great. Tell me what you'd improve if you could snap your fingers. Here's one quick idea that might save you 20% of runtime." That's viral energy. Creativity unlocked.
Analytically, the reframe works because it captures a new signal. You're not just rebutting, you're eliciting a pain point. When you record responses, tag which archetype was used and whether it moved the conversation forward. Pattern detected. Reframe responses often increase next step acceptance.
Quick proof is the second archetype, a short, credible example that shows impact, not a grand promise. Think, we helped X reduce onboarding time by 2 weeks. Here's exactly how we did it. Tech note, keep these proofs short. factual, and documented, so reps don't promise. That's a solvable bottleneck with simple provenance attached.
And conditional close, my favorite sneaky soft close. You say, if we could guarantee that outcome within 60 days under your current constraints, would it make sense to trial? It nudges the prospect to imagine a specific win and opens the door to a concrete next step. Say it with confidence and a little sparkle. That's how you take a no and make it maybe, and then yes.
Now pair these architectures with short daily drills. Each rep practices 1 2-minute drill per day, rotating archetypes. Pair up for peer feedback. One times, the other coaches on authenticity and next step clarity. Track 2 metrics, acknowledged script usage rate and reply to next step lift. If your acknowledged script usage rate climbs, but real outcomes don't, stop and audit. Don't gamify the score.
And acceptance tests for pilot success. Owner confirms at least 70% of captured objections include consent and are anonymized. Manager sign-off exists for any price or guarantee language. Reply/next step lift improves by a target percentage you set. That becomes your real KPI. Efficiency is inevitable when your signals are clean.
Time for Scrappy Coach Tech in practice. You can start with a simple stack. Local recorder app, a small anonymizer script that replaces names and numbers with tokens, a lightweight generator that outputs 3 variants per objection for suggest-only use, and a shared coach board where reviewers paste approved lines. Keep the inference model behind a gate. Human edit required before anything gets used in real outreach.
Okay, panel, let's do live role plays. We pulled 3 anonymized snippets. I'll read each redacted excerpt, we'll draft a reply on the fly, and then run a short role play with timing and coaching notes. Everyone ready? This is where rehearsal meets reality. Creativity unlocked. Snippet 1. Redacted. We like your product, but the integration seems risky. We can't afford downtime during onboarding. Draft reply idea from me. Totally get it. Integrations are a make or break moment. If we could design a sandbox pilot that mirrors your environment and guarantee a rollback plan, would you give us 4 weeks to prove low risk?
I'd tighten that for a rep. I hear you. Integrations are risky. What if we set a sandbox pilot that mirrors your setup and include a rollback plan so you keep full control? If that removes your risk, would you commit to a 4-week trial? Shorter, more direct. That's a solvable bottleneck with clear acceptance criteria.
Coach note, after that line, the rep should pause and be silent. Give the prospect space. 2 seconds of silence gets more information than a rush to fill the gap. Let the process lead and listen for the next objection.
Redaction check. Ensure the snippet above removes any device names, IPs, or internal timelines. We only kept integration and onboarding as the category and a mid-deal band. Consent confirmed. Clarity achieved.
Snippet 2. Redacted. Your price is higher than competitor X. My reply sketch. We respect value. If price is the primary concern, what would make this a clear yes for you? Often a simple scope tweak or payment term can bridge the gap. If we identified one change that made this work, would you be open to a short pilot? That's reframe plus value meeting conditional close.
Add quick proof. For one similar client, a scope shift saved 15% and delivered the core outcome in the same window. Keep it tight and documented. That puts credibility behind the suggestion without dangling a promise.
Practice drill, reps read the quick proof, pause for reaction, then follow with the conditional close. Track whether the exchange moves to a next step. This pairing tends to lift demo booked rates in early pilots.
Snippet 3. Redacted. We don't have bandwidth to manage another vendor. My reply. Totally understandable. Bandwidth is the silent killer. What if we took onboarding off your plate for the first 30 days and embedded a dedicated success contact? If we can remove that work from your team, would you consider a pilot? It's empathy plus operational relief.
Operational signal. Tag this as buyer capacity and create a canned playbook that lists exact steps your team would take to own onboarding. That reduces variability and makes the promise auditable. Projecting the next move. Measure whether this playbook actually reduces client time on task in week 1.
Tech addendum. If you promise we'll own onboarding for 30 days, make sure your CRM and support systems automatically create the tasks and assign the success contact. Automation prevents promises from becoming slip-ups. Precision wins.
We promised live role plays. Quick coaching notes. Keep responses under 25 seconds. Always end with a conditional next step. And require the rep to name the archetype used. That makes review straightforward and prevents formulaic language. Order creates momentum.
Now, let's hand listeners deployables. 3 ready objection scripts you can copy today. 1. Integration friction. If we created a sandbox pilot with a rollback plan, would you give us 4 weeks to prove low risk? 2. Price hesitation. If a scoped change or payment term got this to a yes, what would that look like? 3. Bandwidth worry. If we handled onboarding for the first 30 days and assigned a dedicated contact, would you try a pilot? These are short, human, and require a follow-up conditional. That's viral energy.
The 14-day practice calendar. Quick sketch. Days 1 to 2, capture and anonymize baseline objections. Days 3 to 5, generate variant suggestions and run 2-minute drills. Days 6 to 9, peer review and manager sign-offs on top variants. Days 10 to 12, live calls using the scripts with manager spot checks. Days 13 to 14, analyze reply/next step lift and acceptance tests. Assign owners for each block and schedule daily stand-ups of 5 minutes.
Pilot KPIs to set before you start. Consented capture rate above 70%. Anonymization pass rate 100%. Manager approval completion for any pricing language. And reply to next step lift target. Pick a realistic percentage based on your baseline. Pair scores with spot checks of outcomes to avoid optimizing to the metric alone.
Scoring sheet essentials. Archetype used. Time to reply, seconds. Authenticity score from peer, 1 to 5. Manager approval flag, yes, no. And next step outcome. Keep it in a lightweight shared sheet or your CRM custom object. Don't overbuild at pilot stage. That's how you iterate fast.
3 quick, actionable insights to take away. 1. Always collect consent and anonymize before enrichment. 2. Use the 3 reply archetypes so reps have real conversational choices. 3. Run focused 2-minute daily drills and measure reply to next step lift, not just rehearsal scores. These are small habits that compound into real close rate improvements. Creativity unlocked, yes, but disciplined.
Before we sign off, remember the mandatory guardrails. Human edit on every AI suggestion, manager sign-off for promises, and short retention on raw captures. Let's streamline this without cutting corners.
If you implement this, project the next move, cleaner signals, faster coaching cycles, and measurable lift in demo booked rates. Efficiency is inevitable when your data and process are disciplined.
For builders listening, start with a minimal anonymizer and a suggest-only variant lane. Ship that. Get human reviewers in place. Then iterate on automation. Precision wins, but only if you move.
All right, that checklist we promised. Templates for consent language, the minimal schema, 3 objection scripts, a 14-day calendar, a scoring sheet format, and manager sign-off language. You can grab them at apexblue.com/Objection Studio. Use the starter pack, run the pilot, and tell us what worked. Stay smart, stay curious, and stay ahead.